Hello and welcome to the first video of UiPath RPA project. So we have total 12 videos in this UiPath RPA project, and we ensure that you understand everything from scratch to basic UiPath development. So if you want to learn UiPath RPA development, this is the right playlist for you. You can find the link in description for all the videos. In this particular video, what we are going to cover, that we are going to see how can we use for each UI element to access similar kind of UI element on a screen, and then using that element we will go to each of the car brand. We will also focus that how can we use dynamic selectors, how can we modify selectors, how can we pass variables inside selectors, and the next main point that is covered, how can we get value from different attributes. So you can subscribe to the channel for all the videos, and you can go to the complete video if you are watching this in shorts. And if you are already following the project, you can skip the project introduction. All right, so I will just take you to the website which we are going to use in this project. So it is the website URL Carwale and new cars. So first thing what we will do is that we will be going to each of this logo. Inside this logo, if you see, we have multiple cars for each brand, right? And we will go to each of these cars also. So you have to notice one thing, that from when you go from here to here, the URL is changing, right? Based on the brand. So this is something that we have to notice, and it will help us to go to the next page also. Now let's create our UiPath project. I will open my UiPath Studio. And I will create a new process. I will give a name, car project, and then you can select the language here where you want to save your project. I want to save my project into some different location. Here I can select the folder and create it. I will open the main workflow. All right, so this main workflow, we will not be doing anything right now. When we will integrate all of our automation workflows, so we are going to create two small UiPath workflows. When we will combine them, when we will combine those workflows, that time we will come in main. So for now what we will do is, let me just expand it from here. This is the icon which will help you to expand it, and if you want, you can minimize this part from here, right? So this is UiPath Studio. Now first thing, that in this project only we have another workflow, that click on the, so go to new. In new you will see many things, sequence. You just click workflow. All right, and inside workflow give a name. So what first thing we need is that we have to go to for each brand brand. So to go to for each brand, what we have to do is that we have to, so if you will look at these all logos, these are the similar type of UI elements. So in UiPath, if you want to explore through or iterate through same kind of UI elements, you for each UI element. So I'll just go here, and the shortcut to explore through UiPath activities is Control Shift T. To use any activity on to perform any activity on a application or on a browser, first thing in modern design. So this is UiPath Studio modern design. 3-4 years back, mostly which was being used was classic design. Now also you can use classic activities, but in this project we are focusing on modern activities. So first of all, to perform any UI element and action on any application we have to use application browser. Okay, and then UiPath for each UI element activity. Now we have to do a configuration for this. So before doing configuration, we have to set up this application and browser. Use application and browser. What we have to do is first we have to use our target application, and then we have to indicate, just simply indicate. It will automatically take the required selectors and required URL. So if you want to check selectors, you can come here and you can just check this. This is the title, page title it has taken. If you have to change the selector, you will understand in some time how to change the selectors. Now what we have to do is we have to indicate one similar kind of element. Okay, so what we will do is we will just open this and then click on any of the item. I am taking this and this both the part because we might need this text also. When you move, if you see, the selection is different here, selection is different, and when I move, selection is different. Okay, so I want to take this so that I can get more and more elements to use. So the moment it is selected or it is configured by UiPath, it will highlight all similar element within this section. Confirm. Come here and confirm. Now save. Now what we need few values from these elements so that we can take those values on next page, like car title, and if you have seen the URL is different, right? So we might need this URL and we might need this name. If we have to find out these values, another approach, that how can you get attributes. So which are the attributes if you are not much familiar with HTML? So right click, inspect this item, right? So all of this img, alt, and if you see this item is under some, if you can see on the left hand side, it is highlighting, right? So these all are the div, title, href, these all are the attributes of different of this element, and a, div, img, these are tags, and inside values are attributes. Now how can we understand that which all attribute we are getting in this element? We can just test for testing purpose or just for the knowledge purpose or information purpose. We can print all the attributes. Now how to get all the attributes of a UI element in UiPath? Simple approach, not for each UI element, now for each. So this is an element, you can see current element. So what we can do is here, that current element dot, what type of object is this? If you just double click on this, it is UI element type. So UI element type of object has property to, if you see, attributes. So it will return collection of all the attributes for this particular element. If you come on this page and close this section, there are 12 elements. For all 12 elements, there might be multiple attributes. Now let's see this in operation. So I will just click here. What I will do is, and we have to see which object is created by default here. So for each current text is the name of one item of this collection. So what I will do is, I will take right line just for the separation. so that for each element when it is iterating it will write a new line. And then in the next line what I will do is, so I want to take this outside of this loop, so that before printing item for one, you can drag and just put this outside. This loop will iterate for one element each attribute. So after each element I want to see this small isolation line, right? Use another right line, and I will use this print the attribute, particular attribute of the particular single element. Now let's run and see what all results are coming. So you see the first item has all of these elements: app ID, PID, TID, app name, app class, cookies, href, inner text, title is here, right? And then if you come again, this is for the another attribute, but this will be the same attributes available. Now we know we have done all this only for knowledge, like we should know which all attributes are we getting. Right now we don't need it because we already got names, right? So if you want, you can just disable this. We have to use get attribute activity. So UiPath get attribute activity, how to use it? First thing is that we should know which attribute we are trying to extract from the element. So here we will go, we are still in the same element. We are not giving any selectors because we are taking elements by using a for each UI element activity where the item is current item, current element. Okay, and which class we need, which what we need from there. Let's try with I want to get the text, so visible text, summary text, visibility. I will go with title first. If not, we will see some other attribute. So we just have to keep some names. Outer text, inner text might also. Sometimes if title is not working, then inner text will give you the value. Visible text also can give you the value. And this href is the link that we need to go to the next page. That also you have to just keep a note right now. We will see how it comes. Alright, so now I will just try to print one attribute, that is title title. I will create a variable. I want brand name. So for that I am doing a research, like which attribute will work. Brand name. Okay, and once we create this variable, before we are running this, we have to do right line because we have to print this value for now. So here is the brand name value. Brand name. Okay, so let's see if it is printing something or not. So this is our raw string if you are new to UiPath or programming, and this is our variable value. We are just printing with a label. Let's run this file. So the moment you see this green icon, it means that bot is running or the code is running. Okay, I'll just come here. So brand value name is coming like this, which is not useful for us. So what we can try now is, we can try giving, I think there was something called inner text. You can enable the above part and see again inner text, right? This was also a attribute, or you can go back in the video 30 seconds back. Run. Let's see what output we have got. So you can see the brand name is coming for each car. Alright. Now along with the brand name, what we also need, because in next page when we will go, now let me tell you why we need the URL. First I am explaining. When you go and you will create your solution on this, similar kind of elements are coming on this. But only thing that you notice that URL is different. And which part of URL is changing? Only the front part of URL is changing. So this URL, if we go back and if we inspect any of our element, Control Shift I is the shortcut for inspect. So if you see, we should have the URL mostly in href under A. So you can see here my cursor. So this href attribute we have to get, and this is the URL that we need, right? All right. What we will do, we will go here. This name also we need, brand name. We need one more thing, that is brand URL. We will call it brand URL as variable, but which attribute it is? That attribute is href. You can run the above part, this part that we have disabled. Go 1 minute or 1.5 minute back in video. Then you will see one attribute is coming, href. What we will do is we will create another variable. So the shortcut to create a new variable from any of the activity is Control K in UiPath. So UiPath shortcut to create variable is Control K. Here we will use brand URL. Right. Let me try printing both the values together. This is our message and this is our label and this is our value, brand URL. Now I will print. I will run, and so here you might notice three things: run, debug, and run. So run file is that you will run only this particular workflow. Debug is that you will debug workflow to workflow, and it will give you the visibility that how values and flow is moving. I will just run the file. I don't have to run the entire code. Okay. So bot is running. I will just close this part, and once it will complete, we will check. So execution is completed for the code. So you can see this is the URL that is coming, right? For Maruti, the brand value is Maruti. URL for this brand is this. So this we will be using next time. Now, so we have completed that how to go on this. So what will be our flow? We have to click. We have to go on each of this, extract these values. For that, we will be writing a separate workflow. And then again come back, go to next, extract all these values. Same workflow will work. Same workflow will work here also. Go back. So this sequence of click and go back will be there. In between, there will be another workflow that will be called, right? So let's start clicking on these items first. What I will do is I will just, we are already going in the current element, right? Now what we can do is we can take a click. We don't have to pass any selector, as you have seen. If we know the element using for each UI element, so we can simply pass element here, current element, whichever element right now in iteration. Okay, so let me just show you the flow, right? So you can see here everything is within for each UI element. So we are using same element, that is why we are using current element. Okay, and then once we click we have to come back, right? So once we click we have to come back in each iteration. So how the design will work, so you see get attribute is fine, we can minimize, we will get these two values, and then bot will click. After bot click, here we will use another workflow. I will just write a comment here, create a separate workflow, and we will call that workflow here. After that workflow will complete all the actions. What that workflow will do, that will extract all of these details from each car, and then we have to go back, right?